Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to Championship Predictions. We have got some massive Championship games coming this weekend and these are our predictions. I'm joined as always by Sophie. How are you?
Yeah, very well. This playoff race is insane and so is the relegation battle.
And so is the top two race. There is so much to play for in the division, Sophie, so I'm getting super excited. As always guys, show some support on this video. The support for the Championship Predictions recently has been insane. Let's go for 1,400 likes. Hit that like button, it's free to do and you're doing us a massive favour by dropping a like, and while you're there make sure you are subscribed. Once again, it's free to click the subscribe button, so get involved if you haven't already to get your EFL Championship fix on the channel. And the scores from last week, Sophie, with all the games added up, 10-9. I've just gone in front. It's very close though.
This is very, very close. Too close.
Yeah, whereas in the Premier League predictions I'm getting battered, in the Championship predictions I stand a chance.
Yeah.
Let's kick things off, Sophie, with Friday night's games, and we start at the CBS. It's Coventry City versus Preston North End. Now, for those of you guys that might not be aware, Coventry City's bogey team is definitely Preston.
Yeah.
How many games in our last 20 league meetings do you think we've won?
2.
0.
Oh!
0. In our last
Wow.
20 league games with Preston, we've won 0.
Wow.
Obviously, slightly better against Preston when it's not at Deepdale.
Yeah, Deepdale's just a write-off.
But still certainly not a good record whatsoever. We did lose to Preston earlier this season 3-2. That was when Coventry was still trying to figure things out. As for this game, Sophie, Coventry certainly come into this on a good run. Preston have started to put things back together though.
They have. Preston are looking good, but this is a must-win for both teams.
Preston have seemed a very streaky team, and if they came into this on the back of a few losses, I'd feel a bit more confident because you'd think they'd carry it on. Whereas right now they've put a few wins together, and given the record, I am nervous that Preston could win this. It does feel like a bit of a must-win for Coventry, given the results in midweek didn't go our way, but it certainly feels like a definitely do not lose at the same time. And I'm going to take that approach. Not that I want to draw, but I think it could be a draw. I'm going to go Coventry 1, Preston 1.
So you're playing it very, very safe there, because I was going to say the same. As you said, I didn't realise the stats were quite that bad against Preston. I thought that we might have won a couple at home. Clearly not. They're just a very, very frustrating team, and in recent weeks I've actually been backing them because they have been on an upward trajectory. So can we put a stop to that? I think we've got the quality to. Go on, I'm going to back us to win 2-1.
Sophie, I hope you've not jinxed it and we're now going to lose. Yeah, big game I must say between two playoff chasers. On to the next one, Sophie. Rubbing my hands for this. Leeds United versus Leicester City, the top two facing off. Now, at the start of the season, I did have Leeds and Leicester as my top two to go up this season, and right now they are the top two. It could be the case, but obviously Leeds United are not quite as comfortable in the top two as Leicester are. Leicester did lose last week to Middlesbrough, Sophie.
Yeah.
Even if they lose this one, I still think they're going to be fine this season. They've got so many points, and I still think they're going to get so many more that they'll be fine. As for Leeds United though, Sophie, they could close the gap on Leicester and more importantly open the gap up on Ipswich and Southampton with a win here. Does feel like Leeds need to win, and one thing I will say is I did back Leeds to win at Leicester earlier this season.
You did, I remember that.
And I got it right, and I'm going to go for Leeds again, Sophie. How can you not go for Leeds when they're in such good form? Leeds United 2-1, and to be honest, right now these are the two I think that will get automatics, Leeds and Leicester.
Yeah, I think you could be right on that one. I'm still not ruling out Southampton because they are a good team as well. I mean, you can't rule out Ipswich, but I'm going to agree with you. Leeds get the win for me, but I'm going to add another goal. I'm going to say Leeds 3-1.
Oh!
Yeah.
There you go. What a saucy prediction.
Oh, yeah.
Share your thoughts, guys, if you're a Leeds United or Leicester fan. I mean, Leicester fans won't be too pleased with that prediction, obviously, but...
We very rarely go against them, so...
Yeah. And I was a little bit surprised they lost to Middlesbrough, but I still think they'll be okay.
I agree, yeah.
On to the next one, Sophie. Another big game at the top end of the division. 5th versus 6th, as Hull City take on West Brom. This is a big game, Sophie, and it could really help Coventry and Norwich out because they both can't win. Now, both are occupying those final two playoff places. They did both get a good result in midweek. West Brom, Sophie, was so efficient at Plymouth.
Yeah.
3-0 win.
Yeah, not many teams go there and win.
No.
And they made it look easy.
They did. As for Hull City, Sophie, they went to Southampton and won.
Yeah, again, same can be said for them.
They've both hit some good form, in particular Hull City. And having watched that game against Southampton, I feel like I might edge them. I'm very tempted to go for a draw, I must say, because West Brom are so good as well.
Yeah.
But I might just edge Hull. Okay. The way they played against Southampton, Sophie, was absolutely brilliant. They got their tactics spot on. Rosenior set up to be a bit cagey at the back, but very good on the counter-attack. And when you look at their star players up front, Philogene, Carvalho, they've got so many good players up top. I think they might just edge this. Hull City 2-1.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to separate the two here, so I'm going to have to sit on the fence. I'm going to say a 1-1. Can see why you're leaning towards Hull being the home side, and they have looked very, very good, but so have West Brom. So, yeah, I'm really struggling with that one. So 1-1.
1-1, yeah. It's a massive game, isn't it, Sophie?
It is.
Both have a lot to play for there. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to Ewood Park as Blackburn Rovers take on Norwich City. Norwich are looking very good as well at the moment. They need to keep winning to keep up with the rest. Blackburn Rovers were involved in probably the most forgettable game of the Championship on Tuesday, Sophie, and 0-0 at Cardiff, which is a point, I suppose, better than losing.
Yeah.
And I don't think Blackburn are in too much danger of being sucked into trouble, but very uninspiring in the middle of the table. Maybe John Eustace can just, get them towards top half, possibly. But as for this one, Sophie, I'm going Norwich. I can't not go for Norwich. Their run of form is very good. Blackburn 1, Norwich 2. Yeah,
I'm going to say 2-0 Norwich. Norwich have looked very, very good. Blackburn have looked slightly better in the last couple of games. But Norwich are just looking better for me, so 2-0 Norwich.
Do you think Norwich get in there?
I'm going to have to sit on the fence and say they could.
Yeah.
There's so many teams that could.
And it's too close to call, isn't it?
It is right now.
I'm putting you on the spot when I'm asking you that. Right, how about this one, Sophie? This one sounds pretty terrible. As we go to Cardiff versus Stoke City. It does sound really bad, this, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's two teams that are struggling this season.
You
couldn't pay me to watch it. Sorry.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be mean for no reason, but this game does really make me feel sleepy.
Yeah.
Cardiff City, as we said, Sophie, were involved in a bit of a snooze fest on Tuesday. 0-0 with Blackburn. It's a point. As for Stoke, they lost to Coventry 1-0 at the weekend. I thought they played okay, actually.
You know what? Yeah, they did play okay.
And coming to this one, I just think it's going to be 0-0.
Oh, I do.
I'm going 0-0 on this. I don't know, Sophie. I think Cardiff City are capable of pinching this. So are Stoke.
Yeah.
But let's go down the middle, Sophie, and say both get a point that just moves them a little bit further up.
Yeah, I think we both can't say this is going to be a boring game and then say 3-0 to either team. So 0-0 for me as well. I would love either team to prove me wrong here, but I don't see it happening. So yeah, I agree. 0-0.
0-0, there you go. Right, let's move on to a more exciting game next. Apologies, Cardiff and Stoke fans, but let's go to Portman Road as it's Ipswich Town versus Birmingham. I like the look of this one, Sophie. Earlier this season, Birmingham were one of the few teams to stop Ipswich when they had a very good start. It was a 2-2 draw. Ipswich, Sophie, well done to them. They were involved in an absolutely outrageous game on Tuesday, winning 4-3 against Rotherham in the last minute. To beat bottom of the league by the thinnest of margins is not
great.
It's not the best, but once again, it's hard to criticise. Let's be honest.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, it is very entertaining. They're very capable of scoring goals. Yes, the defence might not be the best, but the 3 points was the most important thing. And they come into this game and the message has got to be the same. Ipswich Town have to win this. And look, Sophie, if Leeds United drop points to Leicester, which is very possible, then Ipswich will go second with a win here. So all of a sudden, after everyone was saying, I don't know about Ipswich, they could be right back in with a chance. They're up against Birmingham, Sophie. Obviously, Birmingham have been improving. Back-to-back home wins. This one's on the road. And obviously, no Tony Mowbray. Our thoughts are with him. Let's hope he has a speedy recovery. I think Birmingham can give this a go. And I'm going to go for quite a few goals. Ipswich just edging it for me. 3-2 to Ipswich.
So I'm going to say 3-1 to Ipswich. I don't think Ipswich can do it to their fans anymore by keeping them on the edge of the seats for the full 90. There must be so many heart issues amongst their fan base. So I think it could be slightly more comfortable. I'm going to say 3-1. It is a shame for Birmingham. I feel like they've been through, like their fans have been through so much this season, and they get a good manager in, and you think, oh, okay, they could go on a decent run here. Then unfortunately he takes ill, and he has to step away for a bit, and you think, where does this leave them now? I do think they'll be safe this season though, so that's something. But I don't see them getting anything from this one. 3-1 Ipswich.
Yes. What I will say with Birmingham, Sophie, is just before Tony Mowbray gone, he got them 6 big points, which has probably just put them a little bit clear of trouble for now. And ultimately, it's not like they were going to make the playoffs this season.
No.
Obviously, I hope he comes back soon and stronger, and then maybe Birmingham City start looking towards next season.
Yes.
You know, once they've stayed up. On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go to the Riverside, where it is Middlesbrough versus Plymouth Argyle. Once again, we must say I absolutely salute the Plymouth fans making the long journey up to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, Sophie, well done on beating Leicester.
Yeah, great result.
Yeah.
Great result. That's all I can say.
Brilliant result. And they take on Plymouth, Sophie, who we've said lots of good things about this season, but the last couple of results,
not
great.
Yeah.
They kind of went down without a fight against West Brom. That was my problem.
Yeah, if you look at the stats and everything as well, they were they were limited to nothing basically.
Yeah, if you lose by a goal or two and you've been in the game, that's fair enough. But if you go down without a fight, that's not so good.
No.
I'm going to go Middlesbrough here, Sophie. They've got to follow up their win last week with something. As for Plymouth, I think they'll still be fine. I would be very surprised if they got relegated.
Yeah.
But they do still need a few points here and there just to get into the mid-40s. I'm going to go Middlesbrough 3-1 on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going for another 3-1 Middlesbrough. I do think Plymouth are capable of getting a goal, and I feel like they actually might be in this one a little bit more, because they've got to be. After the last game, they've got to put that behind them and try and get something from this one. But Middlesbrough are a good team. They just beat Leicester, top of the league Leicester, so they're more than capable of winning this one. And yeah, I agree with your scoreline. 3-1.
3-1. Okay, interesting. Sophie, let's go down to West London next, where it is QPR versus Rotherham. 2 of the bottom 3 facing off. Now, I don't want to rain on Rotherham's parade, but this is a big game for QPR more than Rotherham, I would say. Rotherham, they'd have to win something like the next 3 out of 3 really to have a chance. They're really cut adrift. I will give Rotherham credit for pushing Ipswich Town right till the end in midweek.
Yeah.
But QPR, Sophie, great result at Bristol City last week, and Cifuentes keeps this good run going, and they are now 1 point behind Millwall, 2 points behind Huddersfield. If QPR win this game, which I think there's a good chance of, they are probably coming out of the bottom 3 this weekend, which will be the first time in ages.
Yeah, I think they're more than capable of dragging Millwall straight into that relegation battle and leapfrogging them.
Yes. Can Rotherham come here and spoil the party? As I say, I'd be very surprised if Rotherham stay up this season, but they have shown good signs, I will say that.
Yes.
So given that, I will give Rotherham a goal, but the win is going to QPR for me. I'm going to say 2-1. I was tempted to go really comfortable, but I'll go 2-1. And yes, I do think QPR are coming out of the bottom 3. One thing I will say, though, is looking at QPR's fixtures, they've got some difficult ones coming after this, so they need to make sure they do win this one.
Yeah, I think for both teams, it is a must-win. But Rotherham, what I had said, actually, is that they weren't showing much fight, and then they put in that performance against Ipswich, and you think, OK, they've got a bit of fight in them, so they need to bring that to this game. I think QPR are going to limit them to very, very little, and they're going to walk away with the 3 points. 2-0 to the R's. 2-0
to QPR. QPR fans, do share your thoughts down below. We have a feeling they might stay up.
Yeah, I think they will.
Yeah. Well, on to the next one, Sophie, where there is another team trying to make a great escape, and that's Sheffield Wednesday as they take on Bristol City. Now, Bristol City, of course, Sophie, they lost to QPR last week, so Sheffield Wednesday will be saying, well, there's no reason why we can't beat them.
Yeah.
And I did back them to win at Millwall.
Yeah. Yeah. It was Millwall.
I said 3-1, and it was 2-0, so I wasn't far off. I feel like my predictions for Sheffield Wednesday haven't been bad this season, and I'm going to go for them here. Yes, Bristol City have been a good team this season, but right now they sit mid-table. It's not impossible they can make the playoffs, but you just feel like there's so much on the line here for Sheffield Wednesday. There's so much passion. They're going to be so motivated. They need to keep winning games, and I think they win this one. I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. Danny Roll deserves a lot of credit. He's really brought Sheffield Wednesday back together, and let's not forget they were dead and buried earlier this season, but they might be coming back to life. 2-1.
Yeah, I think they've got a chance, and especially if they get the win, they'll be like, look, you've just gave QPR the win, do us a favour as well, give us a win, you don't really have anything to play for.
Would you say Bristol City are a bit like Robin Hood, taking from the rich and giving to the poor?
Yeah, they are, the Robin's Hood.
Hey.
I actually think it could be a draw, to be fair. I'm going to say a 1-1 just because I do see Bristol City as a good team. I'm not saying Sheffield Wednesday aren't, and that's why I'm giving them a draw. But if they do have that motivation and the confidence coming into this one, I wouldn't be surprised if your prediction plays out, but I am going to sit on the fence.
There you go. Yeah. Going for a draw, which is still something, I guess.
Yeah, it's still a point.
On to the next one, Sophie. Let's go down to the South Coast. This one will be interesting as Southampton take on Millwall. Now, Southampton, Sophie, it's 2 defeats in the last 3 games, which in a promotion-chasing race is not good whatsoever. 4th top take on 4th bottom, and Millwall, Sophie, their form is all over the place. Their form stinks.
Yeah.
They need to get something, otherwise QPR will surely overtake them this weekend. And although Southampton have been wobbling, I think they'll get a good win here. Millwall are absolutely terrible. I have complete sympathy with the Millwall fans. Millwall have made a change with Edwards going out and Harris returning as the manager now. And I still think they might stay up, but it won't be this game that they get the points in. No. I'm going Southampton 3-0. I think they're going to be kicking themselves after the Hull City game, but ultimately, Hull City have good players. They had a game plan, whereas Millwall come here as a bit of a mess. 3-0 Southampton.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what the Saints need right now. They've had a couple hard fixtures. This one is an easy fixture. 4-0 Southampton. Millwall haven't looked good at all. I don't know what's going on there at the moment. I do feel for the fans, and I think they're going to be dragged straight into that bottom 3.
Yes, the pressure is certainly building on Millwall. 2 games left, Sophie. Let's go to the Stadium of Light, where it is Sunderland versus Swansea City. Swansea, Sophie?
Meh.
Yeah. Swansea, their form is not great. I personally would be surprised if they went down, but they're not safe yet.
No, they're not, but I don't think they're getting down.
It depends on the teams around them, because right now it doesn't look like Swansea are doing enough themselves to keep themselves out of trouble. Sunderland, on the other hand, Sophie, obviously we need to talk about a change in management.
Yes. Good riddance, I say.
Yes, I think the Sunderland fans will be saying good riddance as well, let's be honest. Let's go for it, Sophie. Stadium of Light should be bouncing. New manager bounce. 2-1 Sunderland. Okay,
I'm going to say 2-0 Sunderland. I think clean sheet would be big. New manager bounce. I think the best thing they could have done was to get Beale out. Or even better yet, just shouldn't have appointed him in the first place. But hey ho, we all live and learn. And I feel like they'll get the 3 points, much needed for their playoff chance. So yeah, 2-0.
Yeah, they do need to win, Sophie. They're about 7 points off the playoffs now, so they need a win. Will they? We're both backing them to. On to the final one then, Sophie, and we go to Vicarage Road. The final game is Watford versus Huddersfield Town. Watford, they're very much in the middle of the table. They did get a good win against Rotherham last week, and if they can build on it with a win here, they might make some progress towards the playoffs. They're about 10 points off it, though. As for Huddersfield, they're certainly not safe yet, and they nearly got a draw against Hull. They scored late on to then go and concede even later on. I was tempted to go for a draw, but I might just go Watford.
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah, weirdly enough, I'm going for the exact same scoreline. I just feel like Watford have more quality, and being the home side, I'm just going to lean towards them. Watford win this for me. So I agree, 2-1.
Do you think Huddersfield will be okay this season?
Yeah, I think they will be.
Obviously, we've said there's no Neil Warnock this time, but they might still just have enough to get over the line, of course. That wraps up our championship predictions then, guys. Do make sure, of course, as always, to share your championship predictions down below. As we've said, there is so much to play for. It looks like we could go towards the final day of the season with everything up for grabs.
No, I hope we do.
Yeah. It would be interesting. Everything up for grabs except for Rotherham, who are relegated.
Yeah.
If you've enjoyed this video, do make sure you have subscribed as well. It is free to subscribe and you'll get your championship fix. Thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace out.